Hi guys, and welcome back to Hypershoot Tutorials. Thank you for tuning in. And in today's tutorial, as you've seen from the beginning of the video, we're going to be covering the player collision with objects. And this is a pretty straightforward tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to create a new script, and we're going to place this on our player. So just give me a second while it updates. Right, I'm going to call this collision script. Excuse my test one, I was pretty testing it out. So I'm going to create an add. It's just going to compile while it does that. I'm going to pause it, and when that's done we'll open it up. Okay, it's fully compiled. Let's open it up and let's get started. Okay, so let's add the variables we require. So the first thing you want to do is make a float. Okay, and I want this to be called push power, and I'm going to put the push power to, I don't know, 2. Should be okay. And if you don't like it, you can change it when you're actually in play mode. If you don't want any of these functions, you can delete them. Be careful not to delete the last closing bracket, as that closes your actual bracket for the first one. And inside here we're going to make a new private function. So I'm going to call this private if I could spell. There you go, private void on controller. Don't have all caps on, do I? Yeah, I do. On controller collider hit. This is what we're after. So looking at the character controller and where it currently is. Alright, so inside here we're going to do all the fun stuff. So I'm going to get a check for rigid body. So rigid body, and I'm going to call this body, and I'm going to call this hit, which is our variable in here, dot collider dot attached rigid body, and save like that. So this is basically gonna get the rigid body which we are hitting, okay, and that's very important. So next we want to check if there's no rigid body, so no RB if body is equals to null, or body is kinematic, just return. So if it's no rigid body on it, or if it's on kinematic, return it, do nothing. Okay, simple as. If it was not kinematic and there was a rigid body on it, we want something to happen. Also, we don't want any rigid body below us to be affected. So over here I'm going to say if open bracket hit dot move direction is less than 0.1, do something, and sorry, move direction dot y. So anything below us I don't want to affect, so that's going to just return back. Alright, so this is, for example, if you were stepping on an object and if you were to walk forward, it will push the object as well, and you don't want to do that because you're on top of the object. So in return that should be just false. Okay, I'm just going to add a comment for you guys. Check object below player. Okay, like that. And now let's start actually implementing the gravity to the objects we hit. So vector 3 push direction, like so, equals new vector 3 open bracket hit dot move direction dot x hit dot move direction dot z. So z and y movement, we want something to happen, alright, but not for the y. So let's close that off like so, and then apologies for that. And then over here, all we're going to do is, if we're going to say body dot velocity equals push direction times push power. So let me quickly explain that to you. So for this line here, we're calculating the direction we want to push the object. We don't want to push the object up or down, it's just to our left and right, so that's correct. So that's what we're looking for over here. And then after that, all we're doing is we're applying the force to the object so it moves, and literally it will just move the object out of the way. That's all we're doing. So let's go ahead into Unity, apply the script, and let's see what happens. Alright, the script has finished compiling. Let's go into our player, and there it is. So let's run our game view and let's see what happens. So this tire you see in front of me has a rigid body on it. Right, so let's walk around. Let me just deselect the player. So this has a rigid body on it, and it won't get affected because I can walk over it due to my offset of my character controller. Let's walk next to something like this. Let's increase its push power, push it by 10. It should interact with it. Bizarre. Let's have a look into our code. No, there's nothing wrong inside the script. It might be attached to the wrong object then. Let's just have a quick check. Let's just take it off here. Yes it is, sorry. It should be actually on your character controller object over here. So like that. Okay, now let's test it out. Because this is where the character controller is. It couldn't find the character controller on the player itself, so that's why it wasn't working. So if I walk to this tire, let's just ignore that one. Let's go to here. So let's see what happens now. That's extremely strange. It's really bizarre, that is. Let's go back into the script again. There's something not right in there. Check objects below player hit. Right, this is the error right here. As you can see, what I've done is it's supposed to look for anything below us, so it should be a minus here. Okay, that's my mistake, so I do apologize for that. And that should work. Let's run it again and let's see what happens. So this tire here has a very large box collider on it. I'm going to walk next to it. There we go. Good stuff, it works. I'm just going to quickly change the collider back onto this one and keep it in a reasonable size. Around here, yeah. So let's see what happens now. We should be able to push objects once they're next to them. As long as they have a valid rigid body on them and it uses gravity, we should be okay. So as you can see, I'm moving that away, and I think the force is a bit too much. So I'm going to bring that back down to 2, which is a reasonable one. There we go. So I could walk over that realistically, that's why. Well, let's just change that to 4.5. Much better. Look at that. You can see they're updating. Let me deselect the player because it's causing lag on the screen. There we go, fantastic stuff. I can move any object that has a rigid body on there. So let's just see on top of this. See this giant little box there? Again, I can push it off. Can I push the big boxes? No, I can't because they don't have a rigid body on it. Now what I was going to show you is if I run up to this one here, if I just go in game view, scene view, sorry. If I click on it and I put it to is kinematic, you will see it should no longer move. Okay, and that's what it's doing. It's looking for that kind of information. So that's reflected into this line over here, which is If it has no rigid body or is kinematic, just return, do nothing with it. Otherwise, we want to apply this piece of code over here. That's how you apply gravity to your objects in your scene view. I hope you guys, enjoyed this video, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and share it if you enjoyed it. And as always, I shall see you in the next tutorial.